Damn, son, where'd you find this?
I'm all that I need, and I'll be till I'm through. And I'm light on my feet. Good to be without you. Distant light, distant dancer, mute at midnight. She might look like the answer, but I'm all that I need. Are you at home? I'll come right now. I need to see you. Thin as a ship and Scottish pale, bright white light like a bridal veil. I don't need you cut to chew through fingernails. I was a child in the ivy then. I never knew you, you knew me. Not like you knew me. Off on the other suddenly free, but it's all the same. Oh, but I can hear you loud in the center. Aren't we made to be crowded together like these? Was that too slow? Did you change overnight? Second son on the other line now, back in our town as a castaway. I'm reminded at the time it all fell in line on the 3rd of May, as if it were designed, painted in sand to be washed away. Oh, but I can hear you loud in the center. Aren't we made to be crowded together like these? Did I change overnight? Second son. For the second time. Light and free. If I lead you through the fury, will you call to me? And is all that I might owe you carved on ivory? But all will fade, all I say, all I need is a flash in the eye. I wouldn't deny or recede. I find thoughts in pools of gold, and I am only this shape if I've been a miser to be held within oneself is death. Oh, I know, but all will be for mine and me as we make it. And the signs of the fray can't take it away. They won't make it. Ooh, ooh. Was a fool. Crime after crime to confess to, but I hold the fleet angel. She'll bless you. Hold fast to the wind. Hold fast to the wind.
Whew. That is Fleet Foxes live here in the KEXP studios, the phenomenally gorgeous new album, Crack Up. Congratulations. Man, what a job well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It is such an honor and a pleasure to have you here performing songs from the new record in studio today. And you started with the song Arroyo, Seco, and that is part of a bigger piece that starts the album. And man, you just come right out of the gates with this. Tell me what your thought was thinking that people would be hearing this first piece, the first music they've heard from a while from you.
Yeah, I mean, that one was definitely written to be the album opener and thinking about what an interesting way to open the album would be. And it seemed like to kind of set up some of the rules for the record with that song, you know, like in terms of how things are shifting or what the contrast between like quiet and loud or different environments or different sounds. And so the first song kind of introduces what maybe the rest of the record will explore further. And it was just kind of fun to be integrating like loops and found sounds and recordings of the environment and, you know, different things.
Robin, you started writing songs when you were a very young teenager, and unless you were a young genius, which you might have been, I'm assuming that you started sort of with the verse, chorus, verse, bridge sort of songwriting structure, and you've moved into this very beautiful and complex structure that has become the Fleet Foxes sound, and it's probably hard to pinpoint, why you started writing like that or made that change, but is this the first project that you have sort of used that kind of structure for? And do you know when you kind of started working this kind of a structure into your songwriting?
I don't think it's necessarily a better way to work than just doing it, like you said, like verse, chorus, bridge. But I think, having written a lot of songs, maybe you are looking for novel ways to combine the pieces of music that they come up with. And letting a piece of music function as a bridge that doesn't necessarily sound like a typical bridge or what have you. So I don't know. I mean, I think on the past records we structured stuff like this a lot, where we'd have little even a song like White Winter Hymnal, that was two different songs at first, and then we just kind of took what we felt like were the catchiest parts of both of those songs, and then put them together to make one song. And so it's always been part of the process. And then on this record, it was maybe a little bit more thinking about the least intuitive ways to combine things and not just the ones that made the most sense.
It's so great to see all of you here together playing music again. Can you introduce the band and these marvelous players?
I would love to. This is Morgan Henderson, multi-instrumentalist on the euphonium, pedalboard, sampler, flute, bass clarinet today. This is what he's brought, but there's untold instruments further.
We'd be here all day if
on
you
the bus, yeah.
are going to name everything he can play.
My name's Robin Pecknold. This is Skylar Shellset, guitar and all of this stuff, vocals. Christian Wargo, bass guitar, vocals. Casey Westcott, keyboard world, tons of things, vocals. And then we have Matt Barrick on the drums.
A friend to KEXP Airwaves. We know him from the Walkman, Jonathan
Yes,
Fire Eater.
definitely.
Applause all around. The first song that you released for your fans to hear was the 3rd of May, and such a beautiful, epic song. And I understand that was sort of an ode to your long and complex and rich relationship with Sky.
Yeah. Some of the lyrics, 3rd of May is Sky's birthday, and that's the day Helplessness Blues came out, our last record. So it's just a date that kind of has some meaning to me. And then, so some of the lyrics are about that. It was fun to record because he was a guy recording me in the booth, trying to sing those lyrics, which was kind of a special moment to be singing a song about somebody that is telling you it's not good enough.
What did that
over
feel
and
like,
over again.
Sky?
There was moments where it was like trying to decipher exactly what he was trying to say about me. while we were recording and see if it was like, should I walk out of this room now or should I stick through it? But it was interesting. I think it's a nice thing for us to have, just because that date and like the power of 3 or whatever is kind of important, especially coming back. So, right.
What does the sort of adjunct title mean? Daigahara? Is that Japanese?
It's a mountain. It's a mountain in Japan.
Sky, you spent some time in Japan. Is that the connection there, or just this beautiful imagery, or Sky reminds you of a mountain?
Sky doesn't.
A mountain of a man. I actually had to ask Robin about that the other day, and he gave me a nice explanation that I would prefer he explain, but...
Well, so I think on a commentary track for like The Godfather or something that...
Didn't see that coming.
I think there was something like Francis Ford Coppola was saying that every one of those movies has a recipe in it, or a scene where there's a recipe. So I thought, oh, I guess we should have... So far, every Fleet Foxes record has some kind of mountain name, so I guess we got to keep this going in some kind of like Godfather-ish way, where there's like something continuous throughout every record. And then, because that song... sort of about the band, and our last tours were in Japan. Our last shows were in Japan back in 2012, so it just made sense. And then the Daigahara there was a photo of that place in the landscape book that we found the album cover in.
Yeah, tell me about that. That is a photo. I thought it was a painting at first, but very interesting. It can kind of just dive into it in different layers.
Yeah, definitely. I like you said. I liked that it was. Couldn't tell if it was a painting or if it was real or fake at first. I feel like the album some of the lyrics are about that kind of differences in perception. So,
I know a lot of people ask you this, but being so passionately in love with the Pacific Northwest, I feel like I have to ask it as well. But there's so much natural imagery in really sort of everything about the Fleet Foxes, from your name, the songs, the lyrics, the music feels it. Your album covers. Do you think that I feel like this is going to be a stupid question. It feels like it's going to answer itself. But do you just feel like the fact that you grew up in this gorgeous place is kind of what inspires that natural beauty in your songs? No.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, because I think a lot of people that listen to your music, and you've got worldwide fans, are moved by that. And, a lot of people know that the Pacific Northwest is beautiful, but if you haven't really been here and experienced it, you really can't lock into that.
That's true. Definitely.
Not that a lot of other places in the world aren't beautiful as well. When you're writing a song, you're creating a moment, many moments. Do you just know when you've locked into something?
So like that song we were playing, Mearcstapa. Let me demonstrate here. So I was like, doo-doo, and I'm sitting in my apartment, writing this song, and playing this chord, and then I was like trying to find the next chord that it would be. I didn't know, and then when and then so when the first time that I ever did that, I felt very like there was like a blooming sensation. I felt very excited, and so just whatever occurs in between whatever chords occurs in that chord change was very exciting, and like I could feel like a physical reaction to it. So that's when you were asking about that. That's what I think of as far as like locking into something, is actually in the very earliest phase where the chord progression or some aspect of it is saying like, yes, this is a thing that should exist, And
does that usually mean let's stop here and not mess with it, or I'm on to something, let's see where I can work with this?
Well, I guess that's just in the basic phase of coming up with a progression and a melody. And then obviously you need to elaborate and arrange it and produce it from there.
You all took a bit of a break, which hopefully was great for everyone. I know that you all kept super busy. When you came back together and started playing, did things just gel? Like I'm thinking of rehearsals.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, we didn't, because recording the record is, there wasn't a lot of playing all together at the same time. But it felt was really, when we were recording at Avast or in New York or wherever, it felt very comfortable, and we were all really excited to be doing it. But there wasn't a lot of like live playing together, so that's why I paused when you asked if it gelled. But then in rehearsal, I think we all were like very. I don't know. I felt very nervous, or I had no idea taking a break that long. If you come back and it's totally gone, so we blocked out a ton of time for rehearsal. But then in the first day or two, it felt great, and we were really it sounded better than it ever had before.
When did you start working on the record, and how long did it take?
Recordings started actual recording started in September last year. But we'd been writing songs and demoing before that. So and then we ran through to February, mastered in early February of this year.
Was it fun? I mean, was it a joyous process?
I think so. Yeah, it was really fun.
You mentioned that I'm not a musician, and you mentioned that you actually weren't playing all together when you were making the record. And I'm curious, what was the process like? I mean, were you never all in a room together?
No, we were, but it was just, it was different depending on what we were recording, if it was getting drums down or getting vocals down or rhythm tracks down. Sometimes it was all of us working together. Sometimes it was just Sky and I. Sometimes it was just a different, depending on what was going on, it was a different. We were in different spaces and using different configurations, depending on what we were recording at the time.
It feels like the time that you had off hopefully was rich and fulfilling. I'm curious I know that a lot of you in here continued to work on musical projects, and Robin, you were in school, but I just would love to hear a little bit from each of you, because we've enjoyed so many of the projects that you've been in, kind of what that time away brought to your life, and that you're bringing back to this project now with a fresh outlook and hopefully an enthusiasm to dive back in. Morgan, you want to start?
Sure. So you want to know what other...
Yeah, what were you working on, and are you going to take a break now for a while and dedicate a big chunk of time to this?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, very focused on this. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I worked with Matt's old bandmate, Hamilton Lighthouser. I worked on his record, Cave Singer's record. And just general projects, Shabazz Palaces. I worked with them a little bit. That was really exciting. And just kept really busy,
And you mentioned Hamilton Sky. I know we've had you in studio since the last Fleet Foxes record, and you've flown the coop, moved across the country.
Yeah. After we stopped playing in 2012, I actually filled in for Walt, the bass player in the Walkmen, who had a baby at the time, and then subsequently continued to play with Pete, who I saw you with, and then also with Hamilton. And so I sort of honorary Walkman member, if I do say so. And then I went on tour with Beach House for about a year and a half and did some recording. Just stayed busy. Yeah.
It's been fun, because now we're going to go over here to Christian, who also played in studio in the interview.
Yeah. Well, Casey and I did a record called Poor Moon. Did some touring with that. I moved to Los Angeles and, tried to get into some commercials and movie soundtrack stuff, which was fun to try out. Never thought I would do something like that. I did some touring with Nate Mendel, who put out a solo record. Played all of his crazy bass lines. That was really difficult. And then I started building some furniture a couple of years ago. And yeah, it's something I went to school for, so it was kind of a long time coming, but I really like working with my hands and wood. And
got a Renaissance man in your midst.
Renaissance man alert, yes.
These guys are all withholding. Seems like
you can tell all
what Morgan could say.
You can tell all their secrets when they're done with their round robin here. Casey?
Yeah, I helped Christian out with Poor Moon and have been helping other buddies. Recorded a couple records with Sky and like Pete from Cave Singers, and doing some film stuff as well. And I went back to school as well. So Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And Matt, it's great to have you in here as well. As I mentioned, also a part of the KEXP and studio family, and you now have this history in studio with Sky. And Robin, of course, we know that you went back to school, and it's really neat to hear that, in the midst of a super successful career, you stepped back and decided to take time for yourself. And I'm wondering if that was what you hoped it would be, or maybe more.
Oh yeah, no, most definitely. Yeah, it was very. There's certain moments, standing in the rain outside of some big building, a bunch of books you have to read. It was great.
Were you?
But I hadn't really, we were just playing music right out of high school, and I hadn't really thought about college, and it seemed like a good way forward, both creatively and personally, for a little while. And it was a cool context because now making the record, I think, felt very freeing, but coming from a context where there's a lot expected of you day to day, so it felt very luxurious to be like, what song am I gonna write today? What's my, it seems very, very silly compared to school.
Did you sort of throw yourself headlong into the academic student life? Just go for the full experience?
In terms of
like a full course load and going to classes, taking.
Oh yeah. I was, but I didn't join like a fraternity, or I didn't pledge, and I didn't go to Tolo or Bacchanal.
Did you have a trapper keeper? Or
I didn't have a trapper keeper. I didn't.
I want to get serious.
I know. There was a lot I missed, yeah. But
were you playing music that whole time, or were you taking a break from it, or?
Yeah, kind of taking a break, but here and there on breaks and stuff, on school breaks. And
I heard that the title, at least of this record, and maybe some of the themes came from an F. Scott Fitzgerald series of essays, and I'm curious if that's something that you stumbled across while you were in school, or something you'd previously.
No, that was before I went back to school that I read that. I tried to keep all the school stuff off the album, honestly, just so it wasn't so like, here are some vague, deep, arcane academic references, or I didn't really want that to be the situation. But yeah, so I read the Crack Up before going back to school. Yeah.
And what from that sort of came into this record for you? I mean, what in terms of inspiration?
Well, the title made me curious. It seemed like a title with a lot of energy. It made me curious what an album called Crack Up would sound like, or how it would be structured, and some of the transitions or the stylistic shifts on the record are very inspired by the title. It's something that kind of feels like it could be. It's not. Some moments of it are structured in this almost arbitrary, or feel kind of like it was put back together incorrectly. So that's one inspiration, and then the other ones are pretty boring.
Okay, we'll just leave those to our imagination. Okay. I'd love to. I just have a couple more questions, but I would really love to talk about some of the imagery and the video. Fool's Errand is such a stunning and arresting video,
yeah.
And I know that your brother Sean directed it, and I'm a longtime fan of his work. He's just an extraordinary animator and director and filmmaker. And I'm guessing, I know that you're very close, and so there must be a lot of trust there for you. But do you feel like he can just easily sort of represent what you're wanting to put forth in a video for your music? I mean, how does that relationship work?
He has a lot of. It's not even really about any idea that I have, a preconceived idea that I have. He always. It's more about giving him budgets and space to explore the things that he's interested in. And I'm almost, inevitably, because we're brothers, there's a resonance, or I don't think there's anything he could do that I would be like unhappy with. So he has a lot of free reign, and he'll present 3 different ideas, and for this video I think he presented like 3 or 4 different ideas, and my only involvement was just picking the one that to go with, you know.
He shot it on 35 millimeter film, and it is just absolutely stunning.
Yeah, looks great.
Yeah, and very intense as well. I'm curious to know, I know you have some visuals that are going along with the live show, and I'm curious also, these songs seem to come in sets, and I'm just sort of curious how you're going to be presenting them in a live show and integrating old songs.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Sean and his creative partner, 80, made all the projections for the tour, so we've been having a great time watching those as we can as we play, like turning behind them. And then, it's some of the songs we play straight through, and then integrate. We found ways to integrate the new songs with the old songs, like on the Discord. We'll go into that, and isn't that fascinating? And then so we wanted it to be pretty much nonstop music during the set, so we've structured it that way, and it's been cool.
That feels a little bit different than concerts that you've played in the past.
Yeah, it's much more. It's like more of a ride, maybe.
Well, it is so wonderful to see all of you playing again, and the album is absolutely gorgeous. And I'm hoping that having done this before and had a lot of experience touring, that you'll pace yourselves and take good care of yourselves and enjoy the ride.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much for coming in.
Oh, thank you so much for having us.
You're listening to KEXP. It's Fleet Foxes live here in the studio. Discover new music at listener-powered KEXP.org.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?